Good afternoon, Dr. Francis.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon. Yeah, only one person here.
Yeah, that is what I'm seeing now. I thought
Okay.
we'll have more people to join for brush up before the main class.
Uh, okay. Okay, which cohort are you in?
Ember 27. So
Okay.
yes, we didn't take part in the first Excel classes because we joined late.
Yeah.
So and this is Excel 2. So
Hmm.
I'm one of the people that say if we can have brush up
Okay.
before
Yeah.
joining the main Excel class.
Hmm. No, we'll just wait a little bit now.
Okay, sir.
Also, maybe try and reach out to others.
Yes, I'm already
All right. Thank you.
doing that as well.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah, hello.
Well, it's 12:15, and apparently, basically,
Okay.
we have almost nobody. Okay, I think Chooks, and Temitope. But I know Temitope is not new. Temitope is our chairman.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, guys, good afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon. We are
Well, my
those.
line was breaking. I didn't hear someone call my name. I didn't hear what they were saying.
okay, no, I was just saying that it's like already 12:15, I'll be 12:16 now, and the people
Yeah.
we're expecting apparently are not here. So
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't know.
As
I
last
think,
week,
yeah.
last week the passion was really high.
Yes,
Thinking
I'm
that
now wondering.
there'll be like full
it-
class this morning or this afternoon.
exactly. No, like the normal class still starts by 1, but as of last week, people were gingering for like brush ups
Exactly.
for Excel.
You're
So
right. You're right.
I felt we'll have some numbers for this 12 o'clock, but apparently, well, didn't turn out
Then
that way.
I don't know. Ejiro is supposed to have also joined with her class. Is anybody from MMA 3 here?
No, I don't think so.
Because there's a new set that's supposed to have joined. So I asked Ejiro to reach out to Jacinta.
Yeah, I saw a message from Jacinta. I think she added somebody, but maybe
Yes.
she's waiting for a response from that class.
I don't know. I don't know who she added to. But I only know she added. The only person I know she added was Belinda.
Okay. All right. I think maybe we'll just start so that let's not be as if. Because I wanted a situation where we can use this 12 o'clock till 1 o'clock. Maybe those who are having any challenge, you can use it to sort it out before the main class. But if people are not coming, then we'll just stick to our normal 1 p.m. session.
So what you're suggesting now is maybe we just wait till 1 o'clock before we start then.
Okay, since people are not here now, then that's fine.
I think it will not be cool if we start by now, because when we have in mind that.
Yeah, we'll probably leave the link open.
Okay, then that's fine. So convene back by 1, but if more people come, then yes, I'll start a little bit, but okay, but you guys did not join at all, right? Temitope and Chooks from the beginning.
Yes,
No,
I didn't join from the beginning.
I didn't
Although
join from
I
the
have
beginning.
the
I joined
recordings.
You said what, Chooks?
So this is why I joined early for the brush up.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
Maybe we'll check again and get more commitment for people that want the.
All right, then that's fine. So what we can do, if those who are still interested, if next week, then that's okay. We can see it next week.
Yes, we will get more people that will commit.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hello, guys. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, guys.
Yeah, hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
All right, good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon. So we set now, we are waiting for some.
Let's start. You're already done. Oh, my goodness.
All right, that's fine. Let me share my screen. Oh God, I'll do. Let me first of all share for you guys the workbook. Let me share for you guys the workbook. Multiple sheets. Let me share it now. Still loading, right?
No, it's not visible yet.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think that's come now. Have you downloaded it now?
Yeah, we can. Yes.
Good afternoon, Dr. Francis. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Vivian.
All right, I think we can start now. Okay. So have we downloaded it now?
Sorry, what are we downloading?
Where did you drop it, sir?
It's on the chat, on the group chat.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Is it this Zoom?
Why?
What's up?
Yeah, this Zoom chat. Yeah, this Zoom chat.
Please, can someone put it on the WhatsApp group?
Okay, so I should drop it on the WhatsApp group then. Sir, please can we mute our mics? All right, are we seeing it now?
Not yet.
Not yet, not yet. But can somebody sit on this Zoom chat?
I logged on late, so I've not seen anything on the chat.
That's it.
Okay, what about others?
Yes, some of us have seen it. We've downloaded it.
Okay,
we've opened
then
it.
that's fine. Please kindly share on the group chat. So,
Okay.
But anyways, let's continue. So far from our, let me maybe I'll just open the first one we have done. I think that should be book one. This one. All right, so let me just open this. So this was, I think this was basic one we have done, Excel basic one, isn't it? So there we have looked at entering data in Excel, right? The data types, how to format tables, right? Working with Excel sheets. Remember all these rules, right? Working with blanks, removing blanks, blank column, blank rows, how to remove them quickly. Freeze panes, conditional formatting, sorting, right? Different types of sorting, right? How you copy and paste filter data, removing duplicates, okay, viewing two screens at the same time, convert to table, pivot tables, charts, and we also have a full chart workbook, okay? Then we must have learned how to create a dashboard now, right? I'm sure everybody now you can create a dashboard.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. They looked at some Excel errors, right? How you do your custom field, customize your own field, text to columns, flash field, yeah, referencing, data validation. We did data validation, right?
Yes, sir.
Although we look at it again, okay, data validation, functions. So look at some functions, especially as data analysts, your if, nested if, VLOOKUP, right? The index and match.
Why do you pronounce that SPAR? I rest my case to an arrow. Eat all the arrows in the world. Take them.
Hello. Please, can we mute our mics? All right, so we looked at some of the common functions, right? So the if, nested if, VLOOKUP, the index and match, XLOOKUP. And these are the basic ones that we look at. But when we come back to Excel, basic Excel 3, then we'll be focused more on the functions. Okay, we'll do only functions at that point. Okay. Then we also look at some basic text functions, the index and match, average, if, sum product. This is where we stop now, isn't it? This is where we stop. Okay. Now we see all these that we have done in basic one. They are at least the basic tools you need as an analyst, right, to work with. So that's why we now see that we now need to learn how to get the data. So once they give us a data, with this first part, you are able to analyze that data with it.
Yeah,
okay. Then we have moved to Faith, please, can you mute your mic?
Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Yes, thank you. So we now move to SQL, isn't it? So that data they usually send to you. That data they usually send to you. Now we have learned how to query that data ourselves, isn't it? I hope we now know how to query data now, collect data ourselves from the source.
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. So now you have collected that data now. So we want to go back to Excel. Now there are some other things you can also do. Okay. So there are some other things you can also do. So that's what is now leading us to basic Excel 2. So some other things maybe I did not show you guys. Okay. But it's not every time you use them. Okay. Not every time you use them. Okay. But sometimes some situation may arise where you have to use them. Okay. So one of this same data set that we usually use, right? But I have some other examples that we're going to be using. So one of the examples we'll look at is the Go Seek. Go Seek. All right, Go Seek. But have we heard of Go Seek before?
Yes, but I don't know what it is again, but I
Yes.
know I've heard of it.
Okay, I've heard of
It helps
Go
you restore a number back to whatever you want based on certain parameters, I think.
Yes. So sometimes the thing just like say we know what we want to get, is not, but we don't know how to get there. Okay, so just like this example, our typical example profit model. So for example, we have the price, we have the unit, isn't it? So if I have the price as maybe 10, maybe unit as 20, is it not? Or 30. How do you get total revenue?
Times you multiply the two.
You multiply the
There will
two.
be 8 times, there will be 9.
Is it
Yeah.
not? So this is what we already know, isn't it? So
Yes,
that means
sir.
total revenue is what?
300. Yeah.
Now, if we now ask, how many units do you need to sell to get 5,000?
You divide.
You divide what?
5,000 by the price.
By 300.
5,000
Okay.
by the price to get the unit price.
If I want to get a total revenue of 5,000.
Yes. You will do 5,000 divide by the price, the selling price.
By the price. But looking at this model now that we have,
yeah.
Do you need to divide anything?
For this your example, no, is multiplication. But if you will now change the formula now. You now put equal to in the place of unit, equal to 300 divided by 10.
And this is the essence of why you have a model. You don't have to change it. You just type 50 there. I suspected to what? Increase or increase it to 5,000 revenue.
Okay, 500.
Can you see that?
Okay, yes. But what if you did not do maybe there's a big value and you cannot do the calculation? What
so that's so now you understand the problem.
Yes.
If it's small, you can also do this, right? So if it's this time, so that means for me to get that one, that means I have to be scrolling this till I get to that amount.
Oh, okay.
I will till I get to that amount. So the thing is that we already know what we want, isn't it?
Okay.
But we don't know how to get there, how to get that value.
Okay.
So that what leads to this word go seek. Can you see that word? Go seek. I know my objective. Isn't it? My objective is to get maybe a revenue of 5,000. But how do I get there? Okay. So that's what we are looking at. So go seek. All right. So your go seek normally is on your. If I come to my data, can you see where you have your what if analysis?
Yes, sir.
Can you see your what if analysis?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, so what if analysis? Can you see go seek?
Yes, sir.
Go seek. All right. Now set sale. So let's use this our next example. I had 30 here before, right? I had 30 here before. So let me use this example here. So data, what if analysis, go see, okay? Set sale. What am I setting? Which cell am I setting?
So B9.
B9.
Because is that what I'm setting? Now remember what
Yes.
I want to set is my objective. What's my goal?
Oh, the total revenue,
For
right?
5,000
Total revenue, is it
revenue.
not?
Yes.
Total revenue. Set
Yeah.
it to what?
5,000.
5,000.
5,000, yeah.
By changing what?
You
B9.
can change
B9.
or the price. Yeah.
The units, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you know that you can change price, then you can put price, right? But
Yes.
if most times in business, we usually saw the price we change is volume, right? Unless it's a product that actually you can actually have discretion of changing the prices, okay? But most time, what you can play with is the volume, okay? Good. So if you now tell yourself, okay, this is what we want to achieve, okay? This parameter we cannot change it, but this one we can change it. So how much must we sell in order to achieve this revenue, okay? So that way we are doing that. We set sell the total amount. What do you want? Set it to what? 5,000. By changing what this, okay?
B9.
Like, okay. So to calculate it till it gets to that point.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
So the same thing here. For example, if I want a target profit of 3,600, right?
Yeah.
What can I do? The same thing. Go seek. What is the target? Set target. Set sale.
B4.
Yes, the profit. That's this one, right? The revenue.
Okay, yeah.
The revenue. Set it to what?
3,600.
By changing what?
B2.
The unit price. So can you see that?
Yes, sir.
It has now calculated for you. Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
So in the same way, just imagine now you have heard of break-even, right?
Yeah. Yes,
you
sir.
have heard of break-even. When we say break-even, what does break-even mean?
The point where profit is equal to 0.
The point where profit is equal to your total revenue is equal to total cost.
Expense, total cost, yes.
Which means that total revenue and total cost where profit is equal to 0, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So question, how many units do we need to produce in order to break even?
Okay.
You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Which means if I want to go into a market, right, and this is the first time I'm launching this product, I don't want a situation where I produce too much and have them stuck in warehouse and nobody's buying. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
Or produce too much and demand now becomes, and I don't have to sell. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So I want to produce in such a way that I have just enough. I'm neither making profit nor making what? A loss.
Loss.
Accountants, we call it what? Break even. Economics, we call it normal profits.
Yeah.
They say it's normal profit because you have covered your cost.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's the case, so look at this. So look at our selling price. This unit we sell, this total revenue. Is it not?
Yes,
and remember that your total cost is made up of what? Your fixed cost plus your what?
Variable cost.
Isn't it? And you know this your fixed cost, right?
Yeah.
It's normally total fixed cost.
Yes.
You may have it, but although we are just assuming we know the total there already. The total variable cost is your variable cost per unit, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Multiply by
the volume.
The volume, isn't it? By the
Yes,
volume. Okay, good. Now, if we already know this, so now here we have our fixed cost. Here we know the variable cost per unit as 20. Unit produced 1,000. Can you see the same one you sold, right? Then total variable cost is just the multiplication of this multiplied by 20 units. Then to get total cost is what? The fixed cost plus what? Total variable what? Cost. That means to get profit is what? Revenue minus
total cost.
I see, total cost.
Yes.
Do we get that? Which
Yes,
means
sir.
if I want to calculate, so first of all, you must understand the model first. You must have built the model here. There must be formulas, because if there's no formula, it will not work. Okay, you must first of all understand how the model works. So it's based on that model that you are going to. Okay. So I come here now. So what I want to do, I want to find out how many units do I need to produce, is it not? In such a way, I'm going to make a target profit of 0. Can we see that? So if I come here,
please, could you go over that again briefly? This target profit now, how you explain the target profit, how to get there?
The target profit. No, did you understand the concept here of total revenue equal total cost?
Yes, yes. I think
we are just saying that for you to get break even, your profit must be equal to 0.
Yes, yes. How
so
much
which means once you have built this model here, is it not?
Yes.
What you are trying to look at, we are trying to look for a situation where our profit is going to be 0.
Okay.
You know, there is a mathematical way of deriving it. Okay, let me just explain it that way. So you know, normally your total revenue is what? What is your total revenue? Price times what?
Quantity.
What is total cost?
Total fixed cost plus total variable cost.
Yes, total fixed cost plus total variable cost. So this fixed cost, I can call it A plus total variable cost is variable cost per unit. Let me call it B times what? The quantity. Let me call it Q.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah.
That means for you to be at break even, that means your total revenue is the same thing as what? Your total cost.
Fixed cost.
This
Total
fixed
cost.
Yes, variable cost. So what is your objective?
For profit to be 0.
Yes. What's your objective?
Total revenue to be equal to
total cost.
Okay,
total
yes, that's
cost.
true.
You want to
Okay.
break? Okay.
So when you say to break even, what does that mean? To break even.
Total
That is,
revenue
your cost is covered. You know, you're not making profit. You've sold enough. You've gotten back the cost.
Yeah, so it is that unit that you
material.
have sold. So it's the unit.
Yes.
You know, so that unit. So you see, Q is our unit or our volume, right?
Yes.
So how many do we need to produce? So that is the quantity now, isn't it?
Sure.
So in primary school, they told us collect like terms together. So it will be what? Selling price times quantity minus what?
BQ.
Variable cost minus
variable cost per
equals
quantity.
to our what? Fixed cost. So at the end of the day, we are looking for how we can recover this what? Fixed cost.
Fixed cost, yeah.
Is it not? Since these two are common, so what do? We bring it out. Is that not true? What is left? Our selling price minus what? The variable
cost.
Equals to our what? Fixed cost. Which means the quantity is equals to what? Your fixed cost divided by what? Selling price.
Selling price minus variable.
Minus what? Variable cost per unit. Can you see that? So where this A is our what? Total fixed cost. Is it not?
Yes.
And this B is our what? Selling price minus variable cost. Now the difference between your selling price per unit and variable cost per unit is called contribution margin. Do you see that? But the selling price minus total cost per unit is called profit. Do you see the difference? When you do, for those who have done, when you get to CMA, cost management accounting, I'm sure you do all this. Okay, so the objective here is to look for a way that we can produce certain amount of units in such a way we are able to recover this our what fixed what cost. And it's at that point where our what total revenue is equals to our total cost. Okay, which means that our profit at this point is going to be what? Zero. But if I want to increase my profit, so that means this is the formula here, right? All over contribution margin. So if I want to get, so this one implies profit is zero. But if I have a particular target profit, then I can now say, okay, how many units do we need to produce in order to achieve a profit of, you can now set the target there. Any profit that you want. Okay. So once you are clear with it, so it is this formula here that we are seeing here is what you have built. That is the model. Now I say before this goal seek works, you must understand the model very well, how it works. Okay. So let's go back. Can I clean this off?
Yes.
Hello, Dr. Francis.
Yes.
Sorry, sir, I just want to seek one clarification. Now, this formula of total fixed cost plus profits divided by contribution margin is equal to what?
This is the target profit. So if I want to get a target profit, so just imagine now, I want to get a target profit of 100,000.
Okay.
So how many units do I need to produce in such a way I'm going to achieve a profit of what? 100,000.
Okay.
But your normal break-even is to achieve a profit of what? 0. That's your normal break-even. But now in this case, I want to what? Know the number of units I need to produce in order to achieve a target profit. So that's what it is. So normally that's your break-even is where profit is 0. That's what you normally see.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, good. So let's come back to the model, okay? So that's why anything, just think about it in your own fields, right? As long as you understand how that model is, that is what you first of all build in Excel. Then now you now ask yourself, okay, to achieve this, what do we need to do? Okay, so how many units do we need to now what produce? So that's what we are now saying. So which means if I come here to my goal seek, set target. What target am I setting here?
Target profit.
And what is the profit?
0. That's F.
Is that the cell we are setting?
F14.
Set cell. That I picked it automatically doesn't mean that it's right to me.
F12. That will be F12.
F12 is what?
It's 20. Is profit.
Profit of what? 20,000. Is it not? Set
Yes.
it to what?
0.
To 0.
Yeah.
Okay. Why this one is just written here? Just to guide. It's not like
yes.
By changing what?
The unit
F7, F8.
I
By
think it's
changing what?
F3.
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 F1. Okay, yes.
Yes, F3, that's the quantity.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what? How many units do we need to produce?
800.
800. So if we produce 800, we are going to break it. You get that?
Please, can we do it again?
Yes, sir. So, first of all, your model must be what clearly specified. You know, to understand how it moves. You know your objective. You know, is the name goal seek? I know my goal, but I don't know how to get there. You see that? I know my goal. What's my goal in this case?
Get something that can give me a profit of 0.
Of 0, exactly. So I know my goal, you know, but I don't know how I'm going to get there. But this is my model, okay? Which means I will come here to my goal seek. What am I setting? Set cell. Which cell am I setting? we
The
sell
profit.
profit, is it not? Remember, this cell is a calculated cell. That cell must have a formula in it. If you don't have formula in it, it will not work. Set it to what?
To the value in profit.
To 0.
To 0.
It was 0.
Yeah.
Most time here, I think it goes sick. I don't think you can equate. Do you get? So normally you type it there to 0. By changing what?
Unit sold.
Unit
F3.
By changing F. Okay,
Yes,
F3
unit sold.
or F8.
Yes. So that's all. Click OK. And that's it. Okay. So it can be used in almost every situation as long as you know how your model is built. Okay. Now, but the limitation here is that for your goal seek, it can only change one variable at a time. You see that it can only change one variable at a time. That's the major problem with goal seek. It can only change one variable at a time. Okay. But are we clear with the goal seek now?
Yes, sir.
Are we clear with goal seek now?
Yes, sir.
So once we are clear with the goal seek, that's just basically it. Okay. But you see, when you have two variables, two or more variables, right?
Oh my God.
For example,
sorry, sir. Sam. Hello, Sam. Sam, could you please mute?
all right, let's Sam. Let's
No, Samuel.
or maybe you went outside to put on James. All right. Okay, can we continue?
Yes, sir. Let's continue.
Or somebody should try and call him on the phone. All right, let's continue. Now, for instance, where you have more than one variable, right? More than one variable. So in that case, you cannot use your normal goal seek again. Okay. Now you have what they call solver. For those of us who have used for those of us in class, we have used linear programming. So there's a tool called solver. Okay, that's the solver. But for those of us who have not got there, not a problem. But I'll just quickly explain how it works. Okay, so that your solver is to get like two or more variables. Two or more variables. So here, for example, we say set. What's our objective here? What's our objective? What's our objective?
Find the numbers that will give us profit of 0.
They'll give us profit of what? 0, isn't it? Give us profit of what? 0. Let me see. What do we have here? We had 1,000 here before, right?
Yes.
So we are looking for set objective. What's my objective? My objective is what? What is set objective in this case? Yeah? What is set objective here?
Profit to 0.
The objective is what?
0.
Is that the objective?
Objective.
Profit, is it not? Profit, is it not? Set it to what? You want a value of what?
0. Yeah. Okay.
You know, by changing what?
F3.
That's this, is it not?
Yes.
I think this is how we have done it.
Yes. So.
Then click solve.
Wow.
Can you see that? So it achieves the same thing.
Yes.
But where you now have more than one constraint now, more than one variable, can you see that? So for example, I have, sorry, let me change it back to, what do we put there before? Okay, this is fine, yes, this is fine. So for example, set objective, what is my objective?
Where did you get the solve parameters from?
Hey, solver, okay.
Oh.
Now the solver, if you want to get solver, right, you have to come to your file. You have to come to your file. I'm sure most of us who have been attending not the new people, those who have been attending data analytics. This one must have done the class now, linear programming.
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
did
know
it.
that.
Now, so in the same solver now. So you click on your file.
I think that's
Options. Are you seeing that? Go to add-ins. Add-ins. Can you see your Excel add-in?
Yes, sir.
You click on go. Then you can see your analysis toolpath, your solver.
Yeah.
Okay. Then click OK. Then it should come back. It should come here.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, that's fine. Okay, so that's the solver. So solver, what am I setting? The profit. Where is the profit? This is the profit. Set it to what? Value of what? 0. Is it not? By changing what? Assuming that I want to now add selling price now, I can change selling price. I can change variable cost per unit. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Then click solve. So what is it telling you? That means I will need to sell at what? 90, is it not? I need to sell at the price of 90.04 to sell what? 999 units, is it not? With a variable cost per unit of what? 29.9, is it not? To achieve what? The profit of what? 0. So can you see now we have now added more than one variable.
Sorry, Dr. Francis, don't be angry. Can you go through it again, please?
Yes, I'll go through it again.
Okay, thank you.
But we are just saying that your goals can only change one variable at a time. But your solver can change more than one variable at a time. Did you see that? So I'll come here. So set objective. What is the objective? The profit. Set it to what? To 0.
To 0. Yeah.
Now by changing variable cells, goals can only change 1.
Yes. Yes.
But now we can change, we can put a comma there. I want to change the selling price. I want to change the variable cost per unit. Is it not? I want to change the fixed cost.
Okay.
Can you see that? I can now add as many variables as I want.
Okay.
Can we see that?
Yeah.
Then I'll say solve.
So, okay. So we don't have constraints for this one.
In this case, we don't have constraints yet.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you have a constraint that you now know, okay, I need to produce this, is it not?
Yes.
I need to set my objective to this in order to achieve this, is it not? Then I now have to sell this unit, is it not?
Yes.
Then maybe what other constraint? Maybe variable cost per unit, is it not?
Yes.
Then what again? Let's say fixed cost. Okay. But I know that this my unit cannot be decimal, so it has to be an integer. It must be whole number. Can you see that? It must be whole number. So I can say, okay, add this my selling price. Which one did I set again? I set variable cost per unit. Variable cost. Which one?
Was variable cost and fixed cost.
And fixed cost, is it not? Okay, variable cost cannot exceed, let's say, 50 naira, is it not? my fixed cost. Hey, my fixed cost, right, must be what? Again, must also be integer. Can you see that?
As in, when you say integer, doesn't mean that it's fixed.
It must be whole number. No, it must be a whole number.
Okay, whole number. Okay.
You should not go and give me 50 points.
Decimals.
Okay.
Okay.
Then you can set it there. Then this my fixed cost should not be less than, or let's say, should not be less than what now? Should not exceed maybe 70,000.
Okay.
Can we set different constraints?
Yes, you can set different
For the same
constraints. You can set different constraints. For example, like my variable cost per unit, isn't it? I can say, okay, variable cost per unit. I already set it that it should not be less than 50, is it not?
Yes.
Yes.
But it can be
And you
greater than, let's say it can be greater than 30, but less than 50.
Okay.
You see that?
Yes.
Can you see that? It's greater than 30, but less than 50.
Okay, you set it separately, okay.
Yes, you set it separately. So let's solve and hope we'll find a solution. So you cannot find a solution for you. But although it calculated something for you, but anyway, maybe it was too much. But anyway, you get the point, right?
Yes, yes. You get the point.
So
how do you know you didn't find a solution? By rote solver.
when you solve it, okay, this one found
It
a
says
solution.
so far found an integer solution now.
Yeah, with intolerance. Do you see that? And all constraints satisfied. Then click OK. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But sometimes if it doesn't see solution, it tell you no solution found. Okay. But the point here is that you can add as many constraints as you want. Okay. For the normal way that we usually do it in linear programming, it's just like, for example, let me see. This is the normal example we use in class now, isn't it? So where you already have your tables set up like this. So we need to now know. So can we see it now? So a manufacturer produces table and chairs. Is it not? Each chair requires 2.5 hours to assemble, 3 hours for buffing, and 1 hour to create. Isn't it? So these are the activities you are performing. Okay. Each table requires 1 hour to assemble, 3 hours to buff, and 2 hours to create. Right? And the firm can only afford. So you see, you have an objective, right? And they tell us that profit is $3 per chair and $4 per table. So what's the number of tables and chairs that we need to produce to maximize what profits? Okay. So first of all, there's an objective, isn't it? You have an objective. And in business, what's the objective?
Make money.
To maximize profit.
Either
maximize profit or reduce
or minimize cost.
That's the basic objective that you have. If I am maximizing profit, it implies that I'm minimizing cost. Isn't it? So you must have an objective. Okay. And my objective is to what? Make what? Profit. So I don't want to minimize profit. I want to maximize what? Profits. Isn't it? Good. Now there must also be constraints. Can you see that there are constraints now? So you see, this is now a little bit more technical. Because here we now have to build like a model to capture it. Okay. But in that case, so this same model that we have here is what we have captured at this point. Okay. Because this is not a core linear programming class, so I cannot start going into the assumptions and the rest. Okay. But it's just to show you that for solver, you can use it to apply for more than one variable. For those of us that have done it in class, we have now seen that it can be applied to other things as long as you know your constraints. Okay. So here, to set it up, it means this is my profit. 3 chairs and 2 tables. So this is the chairs, this is the table. 3 chairs and table, that's my objective. 3 chairs and what? Table. Isn't it? Now, these are my resources. What are the resources? Assembly, buffing, and what? Creating. Okay, these are the resources available. Resource available. Let me see that. So this is total available. So that is it 20, 30, 16. 20, 30, 16. Okay. Now to do one, so each table, can you see each table requires 1 hour to what? 1 hour to assemble, 3 hours to what? To buff, and what? 2 hours to create. Can you see that? Then one table, each chair requires 2.5 to assemble, 3 hours for buffing, and 1 hour to what? Create. So once your model is set up like this, then we come to our solver. Okay, we'll come to our solver, so we can remove all these reset or yes, sir. So here I will come. What is my objective? What is my objective? Set objective. What is my objective?
A profit. Yes.
Profit, is it not? Now remember that what we have done here, right? We only set it up. But to set it properly, we need to get an objective, is it not? And the objective is what? You have to now put a model there. It is this multiplied by this, is it not? Plus this multiplied by what? This. So this is the profit I'm going to get. But this profit implies that what? I need, you know, in school, when they tell you find X, maybe they give you a model 3x plus 4y, is it not? Now, how do you know X and how do you know Y? You have to solve it mathematically, is it not? But in Excel, this your X is an unknown, this your Y is unknown. So that is why we are using a blank cell. Can you see that? That's why we are using what? A blank what? Cell. So that your blank cell, this is representing your X, this table represents your what? Y. So by what I have done here, same thing as saying 3x plus what? 4y. Can you see that? But that X, I don't know it. That Y, I don't know it. That's what I want to find out. Have you seen that now? Are we clear?
Yes, yes.
All right. So which means what do I want to do? My objective is to what? Maximize profit. Isn't it? So because it's maximize, if I want to say exactly, I want to get exactly how much now. Let's say 500. I'll put exactly what? 500. But my own job is that no, I want to maximize the profit. I don't know what it is. By changing cell, which cell am I changing? These are the variables. That's my X and Y. Is it not? Add constraint. Do I have a constraint? Yes. What's my constraint? My constraint is that what? Whatever value it is, it should not exceed what? 20, because that's maximum I have. Is it not? That's maximum I have. Add constraint. This one I don't know, it's not, but it should not be, it cannot exceed what? 30, but that's what I have. No. Is it not? Then for creating, is it not? It cannot exceed what? 16. Although you can also do a mixed reference. Can you see that? I can also change the signs there. If I have at least minimum of what? 16. Okay.
Okay.
But it was a mixed reference.
A mixed reference means, you see, in the case where I was saying all less than, now in some cases I can put greater than.
Okay.
Like you did integer in the last.
Yeah, so I can say exactly, beautiful, or it must be an integer.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm seeing dollar. Okay. It's
can you see now? This must all be less than. Look at the. Can you see the model here?
Yeah.
This is the model here now. Less than. We are saying that we can have situation where it is greater than.
Yes. Depends on our objective.
Yeah, it depends on your objective. Okay. Then you can still use your whether you use your GR non-linear or simple linear simplex, right? You are still going to have the same thing because this one can use both linear and non-what linear. You still arrive at the same result. Okay. But most time you switch it to what simplex because that's the method we are used to. But if you leave it by default, it will still work. Okay. Has it calculated for us now? Did he find any solution?
Yes.
What is the solution now? It means you must produce what?
4 shares and 6
tables.
Make a profit of $36.
$50. That is it. So that is where a solver is used.
Okay.
Are you clear now?
Yes.
So before it works, you must have a model already built. Can you get that? You must have a model already built. And that's why they tell you that as data analysts, right, you must still have what? Some knowledge in what? Mathematics. Can you see where mathematics now comes into play?
Yes, sir.
This is where mathematics now comes into play. We're not saying yes, you are going to derive certain things, but just understand. So in the mathematics, what the simple skills you need is all those linear algebra. Those were algebra. Can you see that what that one we have used here? Algebra. Yeah. Things like matrix. Okay, things like what? Matrix. Isn't it? Things like what? Matrix. Let me see in this case. Okay, let me see if this one can work here. Okay, let me reset all. Okay. What was that thing I was looking at just now? So, for example, if I have okay, I want to get a profit, total profit. I don't know the total profit yet. It's going to add it up for me, is it not? So my objective is to maximize this profit, right? But this is the demand, right? But how I don't know how many units I need to produce, is it not? But this is the profit per, right? So it means if I want to get the total profit, it's going to be equal to this demand times what? This, isn't it? So by the time I add it up, it's going to give me what? The total what? Profit. Can you see that? That is the total what? Profit there. Now, but the question is that how many do we now need to what? Produce? But this is the total we can meet. Can we see that? So as long as you can think about the model, you know, okay, how many you need to produce in order to maximize what? This what? Profits. And you notice there must be a formula there. Because if there's no formula, it's not going to work. So what is my objective? My objective is to what? Is it not? To achieve that. Maximize the profit. I don't know how much profit, but just maximize it, isn't it? So I can leave it as maximum, okay? By changing cell, can you see that? By changing what? Cell. Have you seen that? I can now select this range.
Yes, sir.
Of cells, okay. But if I don't have any constraints, right? Did it produce anything for me? Reports. Okay, didn't calculate anything for me. Let me see what happens. Okay, capacity. Okay, let me use a constraint. Let me add the constraint there. So set that one by changing this one, okay? Then for the constraint now, let's add. So that means that this value can be less than what? You have an amount ahead, 10,000, right? So click this value is less than what? 10,000. Add. Okay, yeah. So what you can also do, you can even also put values, right? So I can also put values there, right? I can put any value there. Because at the end of the day, you can still calculate it for me.
Okay, okay.
You understand? You can calculate, so you can put any value randomly.
It cannot be blank.
Yes, because if you put a blank value there, let me see. Because even when you are calculating it, it's still going to calculate whatever it wants for you.
Okay.
So let's say set profits to this amount, maximize profit. By changing cell, this I want you to change these cells for me, okay? What are the distance? So this one, the constraint is this. Add this one, the constraint is maybe this one now you must meet it. So this one must be exactly this. Do you get? So I can just mix whatever constraint I want there. Then this one, let's say it's less than what? This. Okay. So let me just use this one and say okay. Let's say solve. Did you find a solution for us? Did you find a solution for us?
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did. So to calculate something for you there, okay? To calculate it for you. So important thing is that you must know how the model must work. How do you want to achieve it? Okay, so that is what goal seek and solver does for you. So goal seek only looks at one variable at a time, but solver you can what? Get more than one variable at a time. So that's why. So goal seek is like a solver is more like an advanced goal seek, but it's more than goal seek, but you can use to do complex computations. All right, are we clear with goal seek and solver now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, goal seek and solver. As you practice them and think about it, you will see how it's going to work. Okay.
All right, sir.
All right, so let's look at another situation. Data table. Data table. Let me see what I want to do here. Okay. Okay, let me start like this. Let me start. You know normally how you do your 4-figure. Let me use 4-figure table. I think 4-figure table makes sense. Okay, when I get to 2 variables. Okay, let me do it this way. Look at now. Let's say, for example, this was price. This was quantity. Is it not? So let's say this is price. This is quantity. So that means to get revenue, how do you get total revenue?
Price times quantity.
So this is total revenue, is not? So which is what? Price times quantity. You see that? Which means if I increase quantity to 6, what do you expect?
Total revenue would increase to 6.
To 6, is it not? If I increase to 7, what will happen to total revenue?
It will also increase to 7.
Increase to 7. Yeah. Now you see how the model works, is it not? Because that your total revenue is tied to the units produced. Is it not? But you see, I have to be doing it one by one. That means if it's 7, if it's 8, if it's 9. So what are we doing? We are varying the word assumption. So that is why it's called a what if analysis.
Okay.
What if price increase to this? What if quantity increase to this? So that's why it's called a what if analysis.
Okay.
You see that?
Yes.
Now, instead of you changing it manually, I want to see it at a glance. So that means that if this changes to 8, right? So this will also change to 8. But I want to see now from 1 to 8. So I have maybe my price. Can you see that? I have my quantity. Okay. So I know my quantity is up to what? So I maybe say, let me say my quantity up to whatever amount. Let's say up to 8. Okay. But in the first case, we use up to 5, right? So at 1, at 2, at 3, at 4, at 5. So that's what I have done here. So I have put the various quantity we can produce, is it not? Yeah. But you must have a model here. Can you see that? A formula there to capture that model. And what's the formula? What's the formula?
P1 times
price times quantity, isn't it?
Yeah.
So since this is the range I want to see, that means I want to see revenue at 2, at 3, at 4, at 5, at 6. You see that?
Yeah.
So what I can do here, I will first of all equate this equals to what? That formula. I must put that formula there.
Yeah.
Now with data table, you must follow this structure. You must have this structure. Which means that whatever I want to calculate, I must first of all link it together and say this is equals to what? This where that formula is. Can you see that?
Yes.
Which means I want to now calculate this. So give me when it is 2, when it is 3, when it is 4, when it is 5. Can you see that?
Okay.
So if I highlight this now, I'll come to my what if analysis. right? Can you see data table?
Yes.
Now, how many variables are we interested in? 1 or 2? How many variables are we interested in?
1.
Just
1.
1, is it not? Is
Yes.
it on the row or on the column?
It's on the row.
On
The
the
co-
what
On the
row? Is it
row.
not?
Yeah.
On the row, is it not?
Yeah.
On the row. So what is on the row? So what am I putting on the row now?
Is this cell E?
That formula, right?
Yeah.
That we calculated, isn't it?
Yes.
So you should calculate for me on the row like this.
Yes.
Okay, click OK. Let's see. Do you see what has happened?
Yes.
You just calculated everything straight for you.
Okay.
Now let's do another example again. Look at it, right? Now what we have done is called a one-way. It's called what? One-way data table, because I'm only interested in what the rules. It's what a one-way. And it's called what? One-way. Okay. It's called what? One-way. All right. Good. Now the same thing. Look at the same thing. This is price. This is quantity, isn't it? This is total revenue. So you can see my units at 100, at 200, at 300, at 400, at 500, up to what? 1,000.
1,000.
So I want to see the corresponding what? Revenue. You know,
Sorry, Francis.
Yes.
In this D6, is it hard coded or is it equal to B7?
Which one? Which one?
D6. The
This
units
one,
that yes, okay,
this
it's equal
one.
to
B7.
You must always link it. You must always link it up.
okay.
So if I know that this is the formula, right? So I know this is the formula here. I want to get the corresponding revenue. Corresponding revenue. So at this point here, I must put equal to that formula. So this is the thing that in data table, we must be structured like this. You must put that formula close to what you are trying to achieve. Do you see that? All right. So in that case, so I'm looking for what? When it is what? 100, when it's 200, when it's 300, see when it's what? 1,000. So we highlight again. Is it not? This is a one-way data table, is it not? Is it on the row or is it on the column? Is it on the row or is it on the column?
It's on the row.
It's on the row, is it not? So I'm going to select. So it's on the what? On the row. So what is my row input cell? I'll go to where I have that formula.
B7.
Yeah, where I have that formula. Click OK. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So this is just to confirm it. Okay, this 100. When it's 100 now? Sorry, what was this cell?
Is it correct?
No, it's not correct. So what was the cell we are working with? What do you want to achieve? You want to achieve what?
It's not revenue we want to achieve.
We want to achieve
100
what?
times 100.
Revenue, you know?
100 times.
Yes.
We want to achieve what? The revenue.
Revenue.
Right?
Yeah.
But this revenue, remember, is going to change with what? The revenue is going to change, so it's price times what?
Quantity. Yeah.
So I must now tell it, okay, no, give me, this is the formula here, right? But what is changing? Is changing what? The units. So this is the units you are looking at there. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. So my input is going to be this price.
Okay.
You know, so that when it is 13, calculate the units for me at 100 to give me the total revenue. So let's do it this way. So input, so I'll first of all highlight this, right? What if analysis, data table is one way, you know, so input. So let me put price, right? Input price.
Yes.
So let's see, will this one work? Let's check.
No, this one didn't work too.
Didn't work. Let's check our formula again.
Let me check the formula. It's a straightforward formula now. So price times what?
Units.
Right? Okay. Price times units. So I know my units.
Yeah.
I know my units. Is it not? I know my units already. So let me highlight everything. Let me highlight this. Okay, manually, if I was to do it manually, it means that this should have given me what?
13.
Then this should have given me what?
26.
26. This should give me what?
39.
So that's how we know whether we are correct or not.
Yes.
So let's do that. Data table. So row input. What's my row input? So if I have put units as my row input, will that give it to me? Yes.
Yes. No. But we did it before and it didn't work, or did we make a mistake?
I don't know. No, okay, I put price. I put the price
instead of okay.
Yeah. Because look at it. Can you see unit here?
Yes.
It is this unit I will now select there.
Okay.
Okay, let me show you the other way now. Look at it now. Now you see it like this. The same thing I want to do, right? The same thing I want to do. I'll first of all say equal to that formula, right?
Yeah.
Now I want to select this. So that means this one should give me what? This should give me what?
13.
This should give me what?
26.
This should give me what?
39.
Good. So I will highlight this. Come here. What if analysis? Data table. Yes. Now, is it column or row?
Column.
Column. Now, can you see that?
Yes.
Now, what is the input? What am I imputing?
B7.
The unit.
Okay, sorry, the units.
B6. Okay, so that's it there.
Yeah.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
So this is what they call a one-way data table. One-way data table. So at a glance, so no matter how complicated your model looks like, I can now see, okay, if I sell at 100, this is how much I'm going to get. If I sell at this is how much I'm going to get. Take into consideration all your formulas that you must have done.
So, Dr. Francis, instead of this, you can also do with the formula, you can just drag down now to give you. I'm saying, like, if you have, like in Excel, you have the formula, you can always
drag down. No, okay. In this case, because this is a simple model like this, right? You can easily drag down. But there are situations where you will see that the variables are selected from different aspects of the model, but the calculation is done in one place.
Okay.
But you want to now sit at different levels. That is where this thing now works. Because we are still learning it. So I just want to, so that you just have an idea of how it works. Okay. Now, if I do it the other way now, just imagine now, okay, come and see something like this now. Imagine I want to see the change in revenue. Maybe I had another variable, maybe like fixed cost. If I drag it that way, there's no way I can get it. Because I cannot see revenue and fixed cost at the same time. So just dragging it may not work that way. Okay? But where it is simple like this, yes, even if you drag it, that's fine. Because you can always formulate the model this way and do that. That will work. But where your inputs are from different places, but your calculation is done in one place here. Okay? And you now know, okay, this is what I want to see. When it's 100, when it's 200, when it's 300, or when it's 1,000. How much revenue am I going to make? But take, for instance, now, assuming that this is, let's say, 1, is it not? This is 2, is it not? Why your unit will change to maybe like 20. You will now be seeing different levels of when price changes and when unit changes. Okay, so let me give a typical example. You know, normally, for example, like a 4-figure table, right? Like a 4-figure table. How do you calculate a 4-figure table? We did this one when we were dealing with mixed reference now, isn't it? How do we fill this table now? If I was to fill this table now, how will I fill it?
Lock one side.
is equals to this multiplied by what? This, is it not?
Yeah.
So what do we now do?
We fix the J24 and
Fix what?
Fix the values.
Yes, which one? So which one am I fixing now? So on the column now, which one am I
think you're fixing
which am I holding?
You're fixing the column.
Which one is the column now?
That's
column
the
what?
J20.
Column I, right?
Yeah.
Then what the row? What's the row?
J24.
J24.
The row, what's the row?
The row is I25.
The row is I25, yeah.
The row. Can you see the formula here? So which row am I holding? Row what?
Oh, you're holding row
J25. Or J24.
Once you are calling J, J means what?
Column.
So which row am I holding?
You're holding 24.
24 exactly. I'm holding what?
Ah, okay.
Like this, right? So is this correct?
Yes.
Is this correct?
Yes, it is.
So we see we are dealing with two variables here, right? One variable here, one variable. The same thing here I can also do. Okay. Now in this case, I will now have to also equal to that formula. So look at the formula now. It is 1 times 1. Isn't it? So that's the formula then. So I have to set it equal to here. So you must set the table like this.
Okay.
So here will be equal to this. Can you see that? Equal to this. Can you see that? Now I want to fill this one up. Can you see that? I want to fill this one up. So I'll come here. What if data table? What is my row input? Is it not? What is my column input?
That.
Is it that?
Yeah.
Click OK.
Wow. This one is easier.
Yeah, well, it depends now. It looks easier, but you see, if you don't know what to put, whether it's row or column, you see why I said you must be able to understand which one, what is row and what is the column. Because once you are not clear with which is the row and which is the column, you always have problems.
Okay.
Do we have any other example we can use? Beautiful. So look at this situation now. Look at this situation now. Now you see this one, what we have done now, right? So here we have, this is the number of units to produce, is it not? This is the price per product. This is the cost to produce it. This is the rate. This is the maybe staff salary, payroll, right? So if I'm to build a simple financial statement here, right? I know my revenue, I know my costs, is it not? My cost of sale now is that is my direct cost. That means price times cost of producing. To get profit, how do you get profit? Gross profit is what? The revenue minus cost of sale.
Yes.
To get your gross profit. Less your what? Operating expenses, right? Yeah. When by the time I remove that, by the time, can you see my operating expenses? My rent, my payroll, my salary. I'll get it. By the time I remove gross profit from the operating expense, it give me my what? Operating what? Profits. Are we clear with this?
Yes.
Good. Now the question is now, what is the implication of my financials, right? If, for example, now I want to change my, let's say I want to change my price, or let's say my price as, maybe I vary my price and I also vary my, let's say my cost. Can you see that? So anyone, I can vary any of them. So in this case now, I am dealing with what? Two word variables. Can you see that? I'm dealing with what? Two word variables. Which means if my price, I sell at 100. If I sell at 100 and my cost of product is also what? 100. How much will be my profit?
Okay.
Can you tell me how much will be my profit?
it means you have to go through all these calculations again.
Yeah.
Is it not? That
Yes.
means that we have to change here to what? 100. Change here to what? 100.
100.
To arrive at that profit.
Well,
Can you see that? So it means I have to be doing it one by one. I have to be doing it what? One by one. But now I want to see everything at a glance.
Yeah.
Do we get that? So the same
Yes.
way, I'll have equal to this is my final profit, is it not? Do you see that before I got to this profit, there were so many calculations that must have been done?
Yes. So.
Isn't it? Now,
Yeah.
this is what I want to see. What if it's 100? What if it's 200? What if it's 250, 350, just like that?
Yeah.
Can you see that? I'll do that.
So
Same
what
thing
are
as
you
this
changing? What is this thing that you're changing now?
This is price. This can be price.
Okay, price. Okay.
Let's say the other one is what? Units produced.
Okay. Unit
Yes,
sold.
Unit sold.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
So let's say this is unit sold. It can be any variable
Okay.
that you want. Let's say this is unit sold. This is the
Okay.
price. Do you get? This is the price. Okay.
Yeah.
Given this your what? Financial model. This your model already.
Yeah.
Or those your parameters you already know.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will highlight them. I will highlight them. I will highlight them now. Okay. So let's
Yeah.
come here. So what if analysis?
Yeah. Data table.
Data. Is it not? So what's my
Yeah.
input row? What's my row now? My row is what?
The price.
My row is what? The price, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is my column? What is my column?
Quantity.
Product sold.
Quantity. That is
Product
product
sold.
not sold.
Sold.
So that's it. Now because the size is large, so let me do that. But I can remove all this. I can remove all
So
this.
Francis, how did you just change the color just now?
That cell was already formatted.
Okay.
There's a conditional formatting there.
Okay.
I'm sure you know how to do conditional formatting now.
Yes, yes.
That's what we did last session. I mean, last Excel.
Okay.
So sir, the way this our new table was linked to the model was by that 40,000 at the corner.
That's all exactly. So you do all the computation based on that 40,000. That formula you could do. So just to confirm what you have done. So for example, if I have price 150, unit sold 1,000, is it not? What is my profit?
40,000.
So let's check. So if I have price, so my price is what? 150, is it not?
Yes.
My unit sold is what? 1,000. What did that give me?
40,000.
40,000. That's the 40,000 you're seeing there.
Oh.
So can you see you are seeing all the possibilities? So in the same way, just imagine your own business now. You are saying, okay, if exchange rate increases to 1,000,
yeah,
what is the impact on my profits? Can you see that?
So like
you can already see the worst case. What is likely going to happen, impact on your profit based on your model?
Yeah.
So Francis, like a sensitivity.
Yes, that's why it's a sensitivity analysis. Yes.
Yeah.
So is this sensitivity or scenario?
No, this is sensitivity.
Okay.
Right, this is sensitivity. Now, where scenario now? We will see scenario just now. We will see scenario just now, but this is more sensitivity. Now, from sensitivity, you are looking at all the possible scenarios, right, that you can think of. Do you get that you can think of? Because sometimes, even when we are planning, we can say, exchange rate cannot get more than what? 800. Now, what if you now see it's now 1,000? You see, if you don't take that one into consideration, then that means whatever you have planned based on this will not work. That is why you now have what they call, have you heard of multi-color simulation?
Oh.
Yes.
Have you heard of multi-color? Now, this one is what measures uncertainties. That means it is beyond what you think.
Okay.
It will think everything for you, everything you can think about. You think about it. all the possible assumption of the value that I can take.
Don't miss.
Do you get? So that one is a little bit more advanced, but that one now use tools like at risk. You now have tools like at risk. You have tools like crystal ball. Have you heard of crystal ball?
Yes, but I don't know what it is.
Crystal ball. You have at risk. Have you heard of at risk? There's another one called you have at risk. You have model risk. So these are now different tools to measure for what? Monte Carlo simulation. Can you see that? But another way again is that, look at another way again is that, for example, if you were to build a model, so most time in Excel, the only thing they have done here in Excel is just to do, so for example, now, this your price can be a random value. So it can be a random value between 100 and what? 1000. Can you see that? So if I'm pressing F9, that value is changing. Can you see that? As that value is changing, every other thing will keep changing. Can you see that? It will be changing that model there. Can you see that?
So what did you press to change it?
F9, you press F9.
Okay.
So it will keep changing. You see calculating, and that your model will be changing there. Can you see that? So this is something, so it's doing different possibilities for you. Okay. But that's those different possibilities, just changing them one after the other. But now I want to see everything here. Can you see that? I want to see everything here. So if I want to see everything here, that means what I can now do, I can change. But although here will not take, so let me say run between, so this is price now. So let me say between 100 and 1000. That's worst case I see, right? So let me drag that up to this point. Then let's say your quantity, I don't know how many units I'm going to produce, but let me do a run between, let me say worst case I produce how many now? Maybe I produce hundreds and I produce up to 10,000. You see, with this one, or let's say 1,000. With this one, you're the one that sets your imagination. Worst case it can be. Eh? But if I keep pressing F9, you see the whole model will start changing. Can you see that? This is actually what the Monte Carlo simulation is doing. It's measuring uncertainties for you. Because you yourself, you cannot think about it this way. Can you see that? Because this is the future. The future is uncertain. So in that case, it's going to do all the calculations for you. So as I keep pressing my F9, you see all the values are now changing. So just like you have in this model changing, you now have everything here also changing. Okay. So that's but Monte Carlo, that one is more of when you are building like a core financial model. Okay. A core financial model. All right. Are we clear with data table now?
Yes, sir.
Are we clear with data table now? The only trick about data table is that you must remember to put it here. This equal to must be this. Then if it's for single, it must be this. It must be arranged. The table must be arranged this way. So this is just only two word variables. Okay, also with this one, you know how we normally do your what do you call it? You have seen how they do what they call you know how to calculate your net, you know how to do NPV now, right?
Yes, sir.
So you know your normal NPV. In your normal NPV, right? NPV. Okay, let me just explain the NPV, right? So you know when you are making an investment, right? They'll tell you that 1 naira of today is worth more than 1 naira of tomorrow. Is that not true?
Yeah.
1 naira of today is worth more than what 1 naira for tomorrow. Isn't it? Yes, which
sir.
means that what 1 naira can buy today, you'll not be able to buy it tomorrow. Do you not? Do we remember when Fanta or Coke was 10 naira? Does anybody know when Fanta or Coke was 10 naira?
Yes, I remember.
You remember, eh?
For 8 naira too, I remember that one.
Or 8 to 7 naira before I even there was a set time when it was still in kobo. Isn't it? Which means that money of today, we say, is worth more than money of what tomorrow. That means that if I make an investment today, right? If I make an investment of, let's say, 10 million today, I am expecting to generate future cash flows, let's say 1 million in 1 year time, or 1 million in 2 years time. Is it not? So we are saying that money of today is worth more than money of tomorrow. I am investing today. So if I invest today, that is year what? 0. If I invest today, it means it's year what? 0. Is it not? Year 1 means what? Next year. Year 2 means 2 years time. Year 3 means 3 years time. Okay. Now, if I am going to get 1 million next year, but I am investing today, do you see that the amount of today is called present value? The amount of that 1 year time is called what? Future value. So one is called what? Present value. The other one is called what? Future
value.
Are they the same thing? If I have present value of 1 million, I have future value of 1 million. Are they the same?
No, sir.
Are they the same?
No, they are not.
No, sir.
No.
Is it not? Which means that we said since the money of today is worth more than money of what tomorrow, isn't it? So it means we have to carry this future value to what? The present value. We are taking that tomorrow's value, 1 year value, to what? Today's value. So that process is known as what?
Discounting.
It's known as what? Discounting. But if I want to now know, okay, this money today, how much is it going to be in 2 years' time or in 3 years' time? So the process of taking today's value, that is present value, to future value is known as what?
Compounding.
Compounding. It's known as what? Compounding. Can you see that? You know, in primary school now, you learn compound interest now. For those that went to primary school, like me that didn't go to primary school.
Exactly. For us that did not go, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Good. So that means that process of what? Bringing that future value to today's value is known as what? Discounting. Okay? So that means that whatever future cash flows I'm going to get, I cannot just use the value as it is. I need to what? Discount them. Are you clear with that? So this is a simple investment. So for example, this when you invested $10,000, right? In 1 year time, you expect to get this value. 2 years time, you expect to get this value. 3 years time, you expect to get this value. 4 years time, 5 years, okay? But we are saying that in 1 year's time, this may not be the value. It may be worth less than it. Is that not true? So I need to what? Discount it. So we now have what they call a discount factor. It's called what? Discount what? Factor.
Factor.
So that your discount factor is like your, for example, to some people, it can be cost of borrowing or your interest rate.
Cost of capital.
Yes, cost of capital, interest rate, what you call cost of borrowing. What other name do they call it? Cost of capital. What again?
Rate of return.
Rate of return can be your rate of return. Yes, what again can we call it?
IRR.
Ordinary rate. Sometimes they call it
ordinary rate or IRR. Yes.
Or IRR. Yeah. But IRR is a little bit different. But it's still that rate, exactly. You can put that rate. Okay. So are we clear with this? Which means if I'm going to the bank to borrow at that rate, that means that at that rate I'm going to discount it. Or if investors say this is my minimum rate of return, this I just need a return of 10% or 20% or 30%. That is the rate you are going to use. Okay. But most time what we now use is what they call the weighted cost of capital. But for those who are already in finance or doing fin 1 or fin 2, you must have come across weighted cost of capital. Okay. So that's the rate. All right. Are we clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are we clear? Clear?
Yes,
Good.
sir.
All right. Which means if I want to discount, so this is the formula. This formula to discount. Discounting factor is 1 all over 1 plus r, right? Raised to power what?
Minus n.
Not minus. So if I was doing it minus n, it would be df equals to 1 plus
1 plus
r.
1 plus, yes.
Raised to power minus n, yeah.
Remember, you now multiply by the cash flow times the cash flow. So that's why in the books you are going to see cash flow all over 1 plus what? R raised to power what? And then they will now sum it up. I'm sure you have seen this in books now. For I equals to 1 to what? N.
Yes, sir.
This is what you do. So for those who are doing feed, it's not finance. But for those who are just starting, don't worry about it. The important thing that you need to understand is that if I make an investment today, right, and I'm expecting, oh, they're saying, oh, you are going to get maybe 100 or 1 million in 1 year time. That 1 million in 1 year time is actually worth less than what? 1 million of today. What you are looking at 1 million, but in terms of the value, it is going to lose that value as a result of one, either inflation, opportunity cost, isn't it? Or that factors. So, which means we need to understand what cost, how we will discount it. Okay. So to discount it, so let me write this out. Or let me use a simple example. Let me use a more simple example in terms of the cash flows. Okay. So let's say the cash flow is going to be less. So initial investment is what? 10, let's say 10,000. 10,000 in negative means when you see 10,000 negative, what does that mean?
Cash out.
Cash out. Cash outflow. Or initial investment because the money is going out of the business. How much is coming next year? They say, okay, 200,000 in 1 year time, 100,000 in 2 years time, 300 in let's say 250 in 3 years time, and let's say 100 in 5 years time. Can you see that? So that means that if I have invested, okay, let me leave this as 1,000 so that you can easily see it. Okay. Which means that by year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, right? These are the amounts that are coming in. These are the amounts that are already coming in, okay? Now, we are saying that this 200,000 in 1 year time, how much is it worth today? This 100,000 in 2 years time, how much is it worth today? This 300 in 3 years time, how much is it worth for today? So what do we now need to do? We now need to discount it. So we use what they call the discounting factor. What will be the discounting factor? At let's say 10%.
10%.
10%. Let me take that. So let's say 10% or the bank rate, or how much. Maybe for example, assuming you have borrowed, maybe you had invested at 10, you borrowed 10 million from the bank. What's the bank rate? Maybe 25%. So there's that 25% you put there. Okay, good. So if I was to discount it, remember the formula. What was the formula? 1 divided by what? 1 plus R raised to power what? N. Now remember, if you notice what we have been doing in Excel, I am not just using Excel. There is a theory behind it. So that's the same way you should also think about it. You must understand the process, the model, the formula, the calculations, how you would have done it on paper. It is when you understand it on paper, that is how you now translate it and build it in Excel. So don't just look at Excel as, because remember at the end of the day, Excel is just a tool. Okay, but it's a tool, it's a means to an end, not the end in itself. So that's why before you do anything in Excel, you must be clear on paper. You must have that domain knowledge. So whether you are in HR, you are in marketing, you are in finance, you are in sales, you are in operations, okay, you are in business development, right? There are certain things you already know how it's done. But now you are just, instead of you building it on paper, you are now doing it on Excel. So it is that your domain knowledge that drives whatever analysis you want to actually do. Okay, that's why I keep hammering that your domain knowledge is the most important thing first before these other skills will come in. All right. Which means if I was to build this, is equals to 1 divided by, can you see this 1 divided by what? 1 plus what?
R.
What is R?
That's 0.1.
That's this one, is it not? Because it's going to be applied to everybody, I will hold it constant. Isn't it? Raised to power what?
0.
That's first year. You know, in primary school, they told you that anything raised to power 0 is what?
Raised to power, is 0.
Anything raised to power 0 is what?
It's 1.
It's 1. Which means if I invest 1,000 today or $1 million today, how much is it worth today? How much is it worth today?
It's still $1 million.
That is why this is the same value as this. 1,000 today is worth 1,000 today. Can you see that? That is the present value. But if I drag this down, can you see that? That means that in 1 year time, can you see the value has reduced about what? 90%, is it not? That means it has lost about 10%. Is that what you are seeing there? Can you see that? In 2 years' time, it must have lost 12%. In 3 years' time, about, can you see how it's being calculated?
Yes, sir.
All right. So if I calculate this, which means it is these 200, how much is it worth in 1 year's time? So this 200,000 I'm going to get in 1 year's time. How much is it worth today? So I will now multiply it by what? This. Can you see that? So what you said you are going to get as 200 in 1 year's time, how much is it worth today?
200. That's 181.
181. Do we see that now?
Yes, sir.
This your 100, that is what you are say you are going to get in 1 year, in 2 years' time. How much is it worth today?
170.
Can you see that? So that's how we just do the calculation exactly. So do you understand this calculation now? Are you clear with the calculation now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I just drag that down and that's the calculation there. So what we have done, we are showing the equivalent that money we are going to get in 1 year's time or in 5 years' time. How much is it worth today? This is the amount. Okay. Now, when I add up, so what I'm going to add up is the gross present value. Now, to you, in 5 years' time, how much are you expected to earn? In 5 years' time, how much are you expected to earn? This is how much you're expected to earn. 950, is it not? In 5 years' time. Is that not it?
Yes, yes.
Yes, is that not it? This is the sum of what? The sum of these words. Our cash flows now. Can you not see it? Good. Now, how much is this 950 going to be worth at the end of the period? That means I'm going to still add up the sum of all this. So what you are saying, oh, I'm going to get 950. How much is it actually worth?
772.
Now, what's the net present value? Can you see net present means, you know when you say net means I have to remove something from a total. It's just like your net pay, take home pay, you know, HR people, you know, you have your gross salary, the now less deduction, now say net salary. You know? So net means I have deducted something from the gross. So which means this is the gross amount, you know. I will now have to remove it from what?
Initial investment.
Initial investments. But remember, this your initial investment because it is negative, initial outlay. So I'll also put a negative sign there, or I'll just say minus this amount. Can we see that? So it is the gross present value minus the initial what outlay. Okay, or would have said plus. So this one is saying minus minus. So what I will now do, I'll put a minus sign there. So that minus will take care of that minus, which will now make it what? A plus. So it will now be gross present value minus initial outlay. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So in the same way, what you'd have done here, you'd have said gross present value minus, can you see that? The initial outlay. This will actually giving you what? A loss. Okay. Now the question, do I invest or not? Should I invest or not?
No.
Why?
Because your net present value is negative.
Because net present value is what? Negative, isn't it? Because I'm not able to work that project is not what? Profitable.
Profitable.
Can you see that? Which means, assuming my initial outlay was, let's say 200, let's say 300 all through. That means every year I'm going to be getting a revenue of 300. Isn't it? This is now my net present value. Should I invest?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's showing profitable. NPV is
because
positive.
NPV is what positive. So remember, this is the decision. If what? NPV is greater than 0, right? What do you do?
Invest.
Invest. Otherwise, what do you do?
Reject.
Can you see that? Can you see that now? Which means if this one now changes to, let's say here was now, let's say minus 5,000. Can you see that? So all you have done, you have built a simple model here. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Are you clear with
Yes.
this?
Yes,
Now,
but
what
sorry,
if-
the invest place. What you use together if I know you've taught us something like this before.
This one, this is your if function
Yes.
now.
What?
If function, your if function.
If function, okay.
Yes. So these are the calculations you have done, right? So
yes.
So this is calculation you are doing. So you are now saying if what? This value. Can you see that this is your NPV?
Yes.
Is greater than 0. Let's say greater than or equal to 0.
Yeah.
Can you see that? What
Yeah.
should I do?
Accept.
Accept, is it not? Accept.
Yes.
Is it not?
Yeah.
Otherwise, what do you do?
Reject.
Reject. Can you see that?
Yes.
So no matter what changes, so for example, if this now changes, if the cash flow now changes, so if I increase my initial investment to 2 million or 2,000, is this project worthwhile? Can you see that? Is this project worthwhile?
No, it's not.
It's not, is it not? So what we are now doing here, this is the interest rate. What if we go to the bank? Bank say no, we cannot give you a 10%. We are giving you a 25%. Is this project still worthwhile?
No.
Even if, for example, that at 1,000, it was worthwhile. At 25%, will it be worthwhile?
No.
No, do you see that? So what are we doing? We are varying them, is it not? So what if? So the same way, before I even go to bank, I can also build a model like this. By the time bank is telling you, oh, we are going to give you a 30%, you already know that 30%, there's no way you can be profitable. Can you see that? So if I'm saying, okay, I need to invest 1 million, I want to go to the bank to invest, borrow 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 at this rate. Will this project be viable? So when I build a simple model like this, that means I have to be changing it one by one. But for me to see everything at a glance, for me to now see everything at a glance, right? I will now ask myself, okay, let me now see the various possibilities. That is, even before bank we start talking, I will already know whether this makes sense for me or not. Okay, so the same way that we have done all, I'm sure we are clear with how we did all this now, isn't it? How we got the gross present value, how we got net present value. I'm sure we are clear with this.
Yes, sir.
So I will now put here equal to this value here, the NPV. Now these are my interest rates. This is the interest rate, at 1% to 20%. This is my initial outlay from, let's say, -1 to about, let's say, 12,000, right? So what do? I'll highlight it. Go to my data, what if analysis, data table. What is my row input? What is my row input?
The present value.
My row input.
Discount factor.
Row input.
Capital outlay.
Capital outflow. Is it not the outlay? That one, that outlay, is it not?
Yes.
So
what is my column input?
Discount factor.
Discount
That's
factor.
X21.
That's discount factor. Can you see that? All right. And that's calculated it for us. Okay. So just to confirm, so when it was 10,000, it's not, we invested 10,000, it's not at 10%. What was the net present value? 3,000. So let's check it now. So when we invested 10,000, you know, at what?
10%.
At 10%.
10%.
3,262.
Can you see that?
Yes.
So that's what you have there. So imagine now you are now doing at different levels. So in the same way, if I was going to the bank to now go and borrow, I would have done this. The moment they are going into 17%, 18% for this amount, just know that there's no way you can make it. But if this was how much you wanted to borrow, and this is the percent they are going, you can already see your profit. Can you see the difference now? So this is what they call a sensitivity analysis.
But Francis,
yes.
Just a more practical question.
Yes.
What if I know that my capital is actually 10,000?
Okay.
So unless are we going with the route that if the bank says they won't give me the complete 10,000 and I have to work with something lower?
Lower, exactly. At that rate, you at least you can see whether you can see the profit. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Are you okay with this?
Yes, sir.
So this is what they call a sensitivity analysis. And take notes. For this your data table, right? You notice that you can either use only one-way data table, that's one variable, or two-way data table. That is two variables at the same time. Okay. Where I cannot work with this one or two variables, right? Or for example, based on this, what's the best case I can see here? What's the best case for me? Or this is my normal case, isn't it? My normal case, right? This is what I expect. Best case, what will happen? What is the best situation that can happen?
The one that gives the highest.
Best situation is that. What is the best situation that can happen?
1,000 at 1% this rate.
That's the best situation here.
Yeah, that's the highest. That's 16,000.
Best situation that can happen to you here. In business, what is your objective?
To maximize profit.
Maximize what? Profit, is it not? So what will be the best situation for you here?
The one that gives the highest NPV.
Beautiful. The one that gives you the highest what? NPV. So that is why when I now use my conditional formatting, if I now use my conditional formatting, right, I will now look for the one that gives me what? The maximum, isn't it? Can you see that? This is where conditional formatting now helps you.
Yes, sir.
So what's the best case?
16,556, 1%.
That's the best case that can
1,000.
happen, is it not? I can identify, okay, this is the best thing that can happen to me. Is it not? What's the worst thing that can happen to you?
20% at
You go and
12,000
borrow
at
20% at this, is it not? What is the expected case? What you expect to happen?
10,000 at 10%.
10,000 at what?
10%, which is
At what?
3,000.
10%, is it not?
Yeah.
10,000
Yes.
at what? 10%.
10%.
And is that what you expect? Is it not? So what you are now doing, you are now moving to what they call what? Scenario. So you are now going to what they call what? Scenario. Or scenario what? Planning. So if this makes practical sense for you, well, and they are willing to give to you, because this very small investment, very low this thing, minimum risk, is it not? With maximum output.
And duration is very short. It doesn't make any sense. Duration is
not beautiful. Okay. So you can also do that. All right. So that is what when you use.
Wait, sorry, Francis.
Yes.
Wait, I'm duration, but that means the duration is still the 5 years.
Yes, the duration is still 5 years. Yes, the duration is still 5 years. The same. This one is fixed. Remember, this table you can only work with two variables at the same time.
Okay.
So which means if I want duration for year one to whatever, right? So that means at this point, I will have, let's say year 1, year 2. Sorry, let me remove this percentage. Let's say general. So I have 1. All right, 1 to, sorry, 1 to, okay, good. So same situation now. The only difference now is that we want to vary the year. Isn't it? We want to vary the year. So that means here, what do we have now? What do we have now?
Yeah, and outflow.
So I will have what? Row input. What is my row input?
That's the year.
That's
row input.
Initial outlay.
Initial outlay. What is column input?
Yeah.
The year.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, 0. That's
Yeah.
a V0.
That's what?
322.
Okay. All these at least also are calculated to have given you whatever, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Or alternatively, you have just put it somewhere if you are calculating it. So that let's see. Does this one make sense? No. At what? Let's check. At 10,000, if I invest 10,000 for 1 year. No, this one no. Okay, that means that this thing was not included in the computation. You know why it's giving the same value like this? Because that's your, so what we only have here is at 10,000 for year what now? Year 1. This is it, isn't it? That's the MPV for year 1, right? If I reduce this one to about 1,000, right? If I reduce this to about 1,000, this should give me this one. Can you see that? If I increase it to about 2,000, if I increase it to about 2,000 minus 2,000, 2,000 would have given me what now? Oh, sorry. This is what? Where's my initial outlay? Yes, this is minus 2,000, right? So this was 11. So that was the 11, right? Good. But remember that this calculation is based on the model here. So because we just put it here, but we did not carry it, so you have to look for a way to now put it. So let's say year. So how else can we calculate the year? so that you'll be progressing year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4 time. We calculate it. So how else can we calculate structure it?
In the discounting factor formula.
In the what? In the discounting factor, right?
Yes, to make reference to
okay, beautiful. Yeah. So if I was to do that, which means that at this point, let's say, okay. Let us see again. So we want a situation now that it will calculate. So for year 1 now, it will calculate everything at, okay, no. You may not still calculate it that way. You know why? Because if I have year 1, right? If I have just for year 1, it means it's fixed at just year 1. Then to calculate everything for you there. Year 2 to calculate everything for you there. So that's why it is this structure that will not work. So we want a situation that what? If you change it to year 1, year 2, what if I put the year on this side? What if we put the year 1 here? Year 1, year 2, year 1, year 2, year 3. Let's say to year 10. Okay. Let me general. Okay, then I now put the initial outlay. Or if I put percentage, let's say I put percentage here. Let's say I put percentage, let's say from 1%, 2%, right, to about, let's say about 20%. Okay. So in this calculation now, let's see what we have done for this calculation. So in this calculation, what are we doing now? In this calculation, what are we doing now?
We're checking the best year with the best rates.
Yes.
Best number.
Okay, let me see whether this will work for us in this way now. So here, I'll come here, what if analysis, data table. What's my input? My input is what? So
yes.
From the 0, right? My column is what?
That's a discount factor.
Interest rate. Yeah.
That's X22.
So you notice that the row, because this is on the row, is it not? Because this is on the row, and the variable is what? Yeah, and this is where we calculated it, is it not? So I'm sure it must have picked from there. The column is here. Yes.
Is the column on X?
Sorry, what do you say?
21 or 22? Is it on X21 or 22?
Which one? Which one?
The column where you input, it's the same 10%. Just wondering how.
The same 10%. So look at. Let me clear that.
No, when you are inputting the yes.
Yes. Let me go back again. For the row, right?
Yeah, the row is on V22.
This is the row, isn't it?
Yes.
So I selected what? Assume I select year 1, right? Assume I select year 1. Okay. That's the starting point, right? Then let's say the column. What is the column? 10%. Is it not? This is 10%, right?
Oh, you use the full percent. Okay, no problem.
10%, yes.
Okay.
Then click OK. Can you see that? Why did he miss it out? Why did he miss it?
So did we pick the figure in yellow? Do you highlight the figure in yellow?
Look at what happened. See what happened. You know, because you did not. You know, when I was picking it, right? I did not pick year 0. You notice I did not pick year 0. So if I'm picking, look at what I'm supposed to pick. You know, this year 0 was part of the computation. Yeah. You know that your year 0 is part of the computation.
Yes, sir.
Can you see that? So this is cell reference. This is not. These are the years. So I'm going to start it from here because it was part of the calculation here to give you this. Okay. But the moment you started from here, then it means you have omitted some part of the calculation. Why the input, I will pick what now? This, because this was where it was referenced. Then click OK. So for year one now, so if I look at year one now, these are the different interest. So at this interest rate, this will be the profits. Can you see that? Year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. So you now look at the various, but you notice that they are almost what the same, just repeating the same way, because that year 1 is fixed across this rate. Can you see that? Year 2 is going to be fixed across this rate, across this rate. So that calculation is still almost the same. Okay.
That was
so what we are looking at now, if this project is for 5 years, now, for example, these are projects for 5 years, this is not at 10%. So 5 years at 10%. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
So at that 5 years now, so that what is given to you there. Okay, at that 5%.
So that means if the interest rate is fixed, you get the same thing.
Yes, now what I'm looking at is the way this one is. Let me just get this now. So if this is 5 years, so that one works, right? So at 10%, we should expect that at 10% for 1 year.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
Like it's not discounted.
Yes.
It's not discounting it.
It's not discounted, you know, at 1 year. So let me see. If I have selected 10% at 1 year, 10% for year 1 is this, right? Is that not it?
Yes, it
would have been this now. It would have now been whatever that value is minus this. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
So the formula is not discounted.
You have to first of all go and build that model to capture it in that way, because this normal way we built it, this one is already fixed for us. Can you see that? That is why that value is fixed all through, because that model captures this with this one fixed year 1 to 5. So it's now to think about how to model it such that that's your, if that year was important to you, then you now have to think about how to model it. I will just think about a way to, but the important thing is that it is how you have built this model to arrive at this computation. That's what is going to use to calculate this for you.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Another way we can achieve it is to calculate the discount factor for the 5 years together.
Okay, we calculate what?
The discount factor for the 5 years as one, at once.
Okay, at once. Okay, so what do we now do?
That would be 1 plus R. Okay, 1 minus 1 plus R.
1 minus what?
1 minus bracket open. 1 plus R. Bracket close, raised to power minus n.
R will be what? 10%.
Yes.
Okay, R ahead. Then what again?
Sir?
No,
let's write out the discount factor first.
All right.
Okay, raised to power minus n now.
Minus n, like this.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Then everything all over R.
Okay, everything all over R.
Yes, sir.
So this formula is to capture what?
This one we capture the discount factor for both 5 years for us at once.
Okay.
So when we are making reference to our row, in this case, to our row content, it will be a single instead of this 1 to 5.
Instead of using 1 to 5, now capture it based on it. So
the year will just be 5 straight away.
The year will be 5.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the year will be 5.
But this can only be used for year 5, Lukman. Year 5 only, because it's the summation of all the discount factor from year 1 to year 5.
But I think it will be changing.
Okay, let us see. So if I have equals to 1 minus what? 1 plus R. What is my R? 10%, isn't it?
Yes.
Raised to power what now?
-5.
-5. So should I hard code -5? Where's my 5 now?
5 is that's
minus
a P27.
5. Right?
Yes, sir.
Then every other thing will be in brackets.
Yes, sir. All over R.
All over R. I hope this is capturing this. So that means I have to put another bracket.
Yes, sir.
So this 1 minus will be on top. With that will be the numerator divided by R. What is R?
That's 10%. That's X,
R is 10%.
X21.
That is 10%, right? 10%. Lock it. So let's see. Confirm, because if you don't put the right brackets, it's going to calculate anything for you. So you need to be sure that what you are doing is correct. Anyway, let us try this and see.
It's in percentage.
All right, let me remove that bracket there. This is what it's supposed to look like.
It's in percentage. I think we need to reformat it to number.
So let me see.
But is it 520?
5.2. Yeah.
Shouldn't even be in.
It shouldn't even be like this. Wait, let's look at the calculation again.
No, I think it's because it's cumulative, like Moses said. It looks like it's a cumulative formula.
It's cumulative, right? Yes.
Yes.
That's for year 5.
1 minus what? 1 plus R. What is R? 10%, right?
10%.
Raised to power. Should we write 5 and link it? Okay, let me link it to this 5 here. So 1 minus 1 plus R. What is my R? 10%. I log 10% there. Raised to power minus what? 5. 5 should be somewhere here. Right? Divided by what? R. 10%. Now, please, let's check. If you're doing this calculation now, because this means this divided by this, so it's not going to work. So I have to put this one in brackets. Now, this 1 minus, is it 1 minus everything on top? Or 1 minus whatever I have here divided by R?
1 minus,
minus everything.
Eh?
I think it's 1 minus everything.
So that's why we have to be careful with the formula, because if you don't, it's 1 minus 1 plus R raised to power what? Minus n, like this, divided by R. Is this the formula we are looking at?
Yes.
Is it like this?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So that means that all this will be in brackets.
Yes.
We get that way. Whenever you are building in Excel, be sure of what you are calculating, because it's going to give you value there. But whether that value makes sense or not. So which means that I have to come here and put a bracket here, isn't it? So 1 minus, is it not 1 plus R raised to power minus what? 5, right? That's for 5 years. Isn't it? Whatever answer I get, divide it by. All right. So I hope this one will work now. So this should be it. Now, but these numbers now, does it make any sense?
It's still in percentage.
Even if I don't put in percentage. Good. But remember again, this value here is a cumulative, right? For the 5 years.
Yes, sir.
It's cumulative for 5 years. All right, so let us check. Then what I want to use this one to calculate now. What are you using this value to calculate now?
The cumulative cash flow for the 5 years.
For the 5 years.
Okay,
Or in
cumulative.
year 5.
It
It's
will
not
only be
cumulative.
applicable to year 5 alone.
Year 5 is 6.38.
No, it won't be 5. It will be cumulative.
No, it will not be.
Cumulative cash flow over the 5 years.
This cumulative cash flow, what this one simply means is that this value here is what will be here for the 5 years. It will have accumulated 1 to up to this point. So that's the discount rate.
Exactly.
Or the discount factor. Right? Then this factor, what do we now do with it?
Oh, okay, Dr. Another thing, this will only even be applicable if the cash flow are constant.
Yes, if it's
that's another thing.
Okay, no, let's say for example,
let's say right. With that one, we just refer to one.
Let's say for example, it's an annuity. Let's say it's an annuity, right? Let's say this is an annuity, okay? So in place of what now? So if this is an annuity now, okay, so what are we going to calculate now? So year 1, year 2. So we are looking for a situation where it gets to year 1, it should do a calculation for us. And that year, that calculation will take into consideration the percentage to arrive at what? This NPV. So even this one, I don't think this one may still work for us. But the point is that even if you calculate it, it will still give you something. But that thing must make sense. So let's check it again. So if I say input, so what would be my input row now? If I say what? My input row, okay, let's say 5. Input column, let's say this. I calculate. Did you not still do the same thing for us? It's still calculating the same way now. This one is even worse. This is even worse because this is constant.
So that's for year 5.
That's for year. But it's calculating everything for us.
That's why I said earlier that it's only applicable to year 5.
To year 5, exactly. Exactly, only to year 5.
Yes.
And I think that what is even calculating for the gross present value?
Gross, which is really the year 5, like everything.
Which is for year 5, exactly.
Without your net PV.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the point here is that we must think about how we need to model it so that we capture what we need. Can you see that? But although we can try it, but at least we are clear on how we can now use GoSeek, is it not? And how we can use what data table, 1 way and 2 way data table.
Yes, sir.
Can we? Clear?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. So hopefully next week when we come, we'll start with scenario manager. Okay. So GoSeek and what data table. So just go back and think about how else you can use this GoSeek and data table in your own whatever field you work in. Okay, just see how you can build whatever GoSeek and data table, so you can use that to practice within the period. All right. Okay, any other question?
Not for now, sir.
Not for now. All right.
Sorry, hi Francis. Please, can you share? Can you help send this sheet to Ejiro for us that don't have it?
This sheet.
Yeah.
None of us have this sheet. None of us have this one. This one is new.
No, I sent it to you guys now.
So I think they are saying because we've worked on this one.
So
this is the same one I sent to you now.
That's the one you sent to us before we started.
Yes, now. Check on the WhatsApp on the somebody should send it again.
We've not been added to the WhatsApp group yet.
Okay, check on this chat. Check on
this chat. Is on this chat.
So that's not what they are saying, sir. What they are saying is that the one we sent earlier was before we started.
No, I think I started late. Please, can someone just share it again?
Okay, please, someone should just share this file again, this workbook on the chat so that you can get it.
It's actually on WhatsApp chat.
No, but she has not been added on the chat. Oh. She has not been added on the group. Okay, are you guys the one in member 3, right?
Yes.
Okay. You know, we expect, for those of you that just we expect to have started by 12, so that I just introduce you guys to some other things before we come to all this.
We got the link. We got the link 12:50.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay, what we can do
Is there any remedy for us?
Yeah, for maybe next week we can start by 12. So what I'm just looking, if we take it seriously, then by 12, when we are starting, by 12 will now be for, just to recap, maybe for those who have not joined before, we'll just go back a little bit to introduce in the Excel what we have done, right?
Okay.
Plus, if in case you have, maybe what you have done last week, there are certain questions you want to ask, so that when we start this session, we don't have to start going back and forth.
Or can you send us a video so that we can actually watch it and use that?
Yeah, so normally on the group is usually sent on the group. So what we need to do is to ensure that you are added to the group. So ask Ejiro to collate your names.
She has already.
She has. Let us send it to Jacinta. Jacinta will add you guys.
She has already done that too.
Okay, then that's fine. So it's not for her to ask Jacinta to add you guys on the group. That's all. So once you're on the group, whatever we are doing on the group or here, we can easily share the files.
Then Dr.
The ones that have been done in the past.
Dr. Francis, also,
Then,
please, is it possible that whatever you'll be teaching them, like this particular day, maybe you say, okay, so day we are doing this, so that like some of us that maybe there were some days we went outside and sun entered our eye and we cannot see well, so we cannot join on those days.
I can't really know what exactly, so it depends on that day. So for example, like next week now, I'm just going to recap about maybe basic where Excel. We are going to in terms of data analytics and use the basic Excel. So some of the Excel already we have already done in class, right? Yes. But we'll just keep using on them. We'll just build on them gradually.
No, I'm just saying like maybe when we not get to SQL again, somebody like
okay, for example, when we get to SQL again, okay.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
When we get to SQL. Anyway, when we are going to recap on SQL, it means that for that period, we are going back to do maybe like sub queries, maybe SQL part 2.
Okay.
But that will take a while because you know for next month it's Python, and Python can take quite a while. Okay.
Wow. Master, don't we used to take break in this group?
Which break?
What is
break?
Holiday off. Month
off. Holiday.
Anything, not to just meet.
Anything. Holiday anytime you want now. It's not
no.
Like that's on holiday now.
And rest people are not doing holiday. It's not nice.
No, the point is that if you are really interested in data analytics, you know that there's no break in it. It's a lifelong journey.
Oh dear.
So anytime you can go on break anytime. If it's only Excel, you are okay with. You are free to retire. If it's only SQL you have learned, you are free to retire. There are some people that are waiting for Python. They are not waiting for.
No, it's good. Like what you taught in Excel today. Now, if I have retired before, now I won't know that it was very applicable to my business because today's topic is very.
Especially those that are into production, maybe I want to now you now think about how to now build.
If I had missed the session now, that would miss something.
Yeah, so that's the point now.
Yeah.
So it's because you have thought about, okay, I can actually apply it in this area. But what we have actually done in the first case, you are okay as an analyst. But now we are not going further.
Okay.
Now you have analyzed this. Now I want to now do it in terms of sensitivity analysis.
Okay.
Or in terms of scenarios. Okay. These are now So that's why with the Python now, you see the same thing we are doing in Excel is what we are still going to try and do inside Python. But now the only difference now is that with Python now comes a lot of flexibility. You get a lot of flexibility. The same thing what we have done in SQL, we still write that same SQL script inside Python. So which means Python is now going to now connect Excel, it's now going to connect SQL and we'll now be working with it inside Python. Then when we get to Power BI, what we have done inside the Python, linking Excel, SQL inside Python, we are going to do that in Power BI. We are going to link Excel, SQL, Python inside Power BI.
Okay.
And you see that is the end to end.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Nice. Thank you very much, Dr. Francis.
So thank you, just try wherever we stop for next week.
Yeah.
Excel. Now I want to at least if I can cover scenario manager, data consolidation, and other things, right?
Yeah.
Then we are done. We'll stop there.
Okay.
We'll go to Python. So wherever we want to come back again, once we have gone to certain extent, we'll come back again to Excel. Excel will never end.
Okay.
Excel will never end. When we get to a certain point now, for example, we stop in Python, we have maybe like 1 day or 2 weeks again to enter the next month. We can use that to cover SQL or Excel. So that next month will not start a new thing afresh.
Okay.
You understand that?
Yeah.
If, for example, last we had concluded Excel, or maybe next week we stop at we complete SQL next week, right? That means that the new month we're entering a new thing entirely. So because we have stopped at SQL last week, so this other month now, let us just complete it with something else. So that's why we are going back to Excel. So in the month of April, we are going to YouTube. So some people are expected to enter in YouTube because that's what they are interested in. So some people, they are interested in Power BI, so they wait for Power BI. Some people are interested in Tableau, so they wait till when we get to Tableau. So that's how we are going to be building it. And don't forget
every month is a new thing. Every month.
Yes, we are expected to enter something new. We are expected to enter something new. As long as we have covered the whole aspects. Like Python can take us maybe 2-3 months.
How many months? 3 months.
2-3 months, I think.
Okay.
Because for Python, we are going to do basic Python. We are going to do data analysis with Python. We are now going to also do machine learning in Python. So that may take quite a while. If it was then when we were doing 3 hours, right? If that way I told you that sometimes even 4 hours will be enough. But some will say, when will I be sitting to learn all this? So that way we are
no, the problem is some of us work on Sundays as well.
Yes, that's the thing.
That's the problem.
That way I say, even that 2 hours.
If it was at night, but you said to be relaxed for the next day's work. If not, if it was at night, it would have been okay. But sometimes Sundays, some of us work Monday to Sunday. Yeah.
Yes. So that's.
So Francis, you need to sleep too.
Yeah, Abio. I'm prepared for his next day's hustle.
I'm even wondering how he's having the time.
Yeah.
They say there's no sleep for the weekend. So me, people that
you are not the weekend now.
I'm weekend now. So
we appreciate your time, sir. We appreciate your time.
But Francis, thank you so much.
Is there?
You don't have another class. You usually have another class.
No. This period, I'm done with them now. So I'm starting with them next month. So another group next month. So that's why I'm free.
So thank you for the refresher course on basic finance.
On basic finance, which one?
Refresher course. What is that today?
Okay, this one. Okay.
This is the best, Dr. Francis. Since I started.
Yeah, this is more of application now. You know that this basic extension is more applications.
Yeah.
The means you must have already understood what we have done the first one. Then now we are now applying them.
Yeah.
So that's just this. All right, guys.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care.
Thank you very much, Dr. Francis. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate your time.
By the way, let's not forget our blog to our write-up and summary of what we have done.
That's true.
Okay, sir.
All right. You can rush write it, put on your LinkedIn, and you can just send it on your Twitter. You can send it to us. We'll follow you. We tweet.
Yeah, and even on that, we are talking to IT on so that if they can create a data analytics page for us on eLearn, So
Okay,
that
that will be also fine. Yeah, that will be also fine.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye,
sir.
sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Yeah.